All right, gang, so just kind of picking up where we left off there before lunch, just kind of introducing our, our new rule today. What do we do if we take a power to a power? And what we came up with is that we multiply those exponents, okay? We talked a little bit about why it works. Now, we'll go ahead and do a few examples, okay? So looking at example A, it's n to the fourth raised to the power of 7. Okay, so all we do there is applying our rule. Sorry, try the n. Is just take 4 times 7, and so what we get is n to the 28. All right, and there's lots of fractions in this lesson, so if you're not real comfortable with that, then I suggest use your calculator. Okay. So on this one, we'd have x to the 2/3 times 1/2, which will give me x to the 1/3. All right, so your examples that I want you to do next are all pretty similar to that. They're also kind of related to each other, so I'm going to take that timer down and time a little bit. I want you to try C through F. Is there anybody who doesn't have a calculator today who would like to borrow one? Anybody else? I think all I have is 3, so. Yeah. Make that a little bit larger. All right, so basically your job is to tell me what the exponent is for P when I call on you. So for example, C, Blake to me, when I take P to the 5th and raise it to the 4th power, what's my exponent? P to the what? No, not the 9th. Shackelford? P to the 20th, because here we would multiply, not add. All right, so what if we flip it around then and take P to the 4th and raise it to the 5th power? Natalia, what would we get there on example D? P to the what? No, Natalia. Robert, what do we get? It would be. That's right. That's right. So this is a good reminder that multiplication is commutative. The order doesn't matter. Whichever way you multiply those exponents, you're still going to get the same result. Miranda, what about E? What do we get there? P to the power of what?
1/8.
Miranda, you there? You guys are killing my video here. Anybody, can I get a volunteer in class? Andrea? 1/8, very good. 1/2 times 1/4 is 1/8. So based on what we said on the last one, this must be P to the 1/8 as well. Okay? So again, when you take a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. All right, so looking at the next example, the key to this one is to remember our order of operations. Okay, so we usually think about PEMDAS when we think about that. So in particular, what we care about is, or the big reminder is that we would want to do exponents before multiplication or division. Okay, so looking at example 2a there, says y cubed times y to the 5 halves raised to the power of -2. All right, so that's obviously looks kind of weird, but when we go back to our fundamentals, we know we need to do this part first. Yeah, we'll do that first. So that's going to give me y cubed, or y to the 3rd, times whatever that is that I have highlighted. So for the exponent, I'm going to take 5 halves times -2. Okay, so that would give me -5 there. All right, now I still need to simplify this, write it as a single exponent. Okay, can anybody tell me what y to the 3 times y to the -5 would be? Robert?
Y to the -15 power.
All right, y to the -15 is kind of a common mistake here. All right, so it's not y to the -15. If it's not y to the -15, Corey, what is it? Y to the -2nd. So this is a good reminder that you have to consider the operation. All right, so our actual operation is multiplication. A level down from multiplication tells me that I add the exponents. Okay, it's all right. You gotta practice it. Okay, and then we have to clean that up. Give ourselves a positive exponent. So we flip it. Rewrite it as 1 over y to the +2. That's the way I like to write it. Or you could write it as 1 over y squared, like that. Either way. Okay? So let's do one more together. So again, we're going to do the power to a power first. And so I get x squared times whatever. 6 times -4 is -24. So times x to the -24. Now we know I'm adding those two exponents to get x to the -22. And again, we need to clean that up. So we have a positive 22 exponent. So final answer, 1 over x raised to the power of 22. All right, so I want you all to try the next 3, okay? Feel free to work with those around you. Feel free to compare answers. Feel free to ask questions. Use those calculators up. Yes. Yes. Yep. So either way. Yep. So guys, Miss Wolf just asked a question too. Could I write this one like this? And the answer to that is yes. Those two things mean the exact same thing. Okay. I can't even tell you why I prefer the other way, but I just do. That's the way my brain thinks about it. So obviously, you know, these are kind of multi-step, but I'm just going to ask for the answer only, right? And if you need any more clarification than that, don't hesitate to ask. but also know that the posted notes will kind of show those details as well. All right, so let's take a shot at these next couple. Serenity, did you get anywhere on C? What'd you end up with for C? Final answer. My virtual crew sleeping on me. Adrian, did you get anywhere on C? Remember, you guys are being recorded here. How about Lily? You get anywhere on C? Lily, sorry, you go ahead. I was gonna say Lily Phillips, but you go ahead. Lily. You didn't have an answer, is that what you said? Oh, it's okay. What would you get? W to the third. So so the only thing we have to work on besides that is your confidence, because that's correct. So very good. Yep, W to the third is correct. Very good. Now, obviously, there are steps to get there, but you know, at this point, I'm just kind of checking for understanding. Okay. Lily Phillips, what about the next one? Were you able to get that one done? No. How about Caleb? Were you able to get D finished? Bree Styles?
Still working on it.
All right. Anybody have D? Andrea? S to the seventh is not correct, but you're on the right track. Anybody know what it is if it's not S to the seventh? All right. So, well, let's just go step by step. So first step would be we take -5 times 3 over 2. So that's going to give me, that's okay. So that's going to give me S to the -15 halves times S to the 1/2. Then you take -15 halves plus 1/2. That'd be -14 halves or -7. Okay, and then we want to get rid of the negative, so we flip it to be 1 over S to the +7. All right, and does anybody have, so obviously that one had fractions, that might be what threw you there. Does anybody have E? Anybody skip it and go to E? Grant? It is 1 over H to the 14th. Very good. So basically, you know, we're looking for an exponent. So what you have to do first is you have to multiply your exponents first. So like if I'm doing E real quick, I already know what to do. I've seen a couple. What I'm going to type in my calculator is 4 times -3, and then I'm going to add that whatever that is to -2, and then I get -14, and then I clean that up at the end. Okay. Anybody have any questions before we move on? Robert?
How do you then get 4 from D? I don't really understand that how.
We got -7 for D. But yeah, we just take, first step would be -5. -5 times 3 over 2. Right, and then you take -7.5 plus 1/2. There you go. And that's what we got. Yep, that's right. All right, so good job. We'll go ahead and move on. Okay, for this next property, it's not really a new property, but an extension of what we've already kind of started to learn. For this one, I think of like the distributive property. Okay, we're multiplying exponents anyways, so I kind of think this is similar to the distributive property. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. And again, here is our property. Okay. So looking at A, all right. So A is 7 times m to the 9th, all raised to the 3rd power. Okay. So if I apply my exponent rules, what I would have is 7 to the 1st raised to the 3rd power. So 7 to the 1 times 3. And then I'd have m to the 9th raised to the 3rd power, which means take m to the 9 times 3. Okay. Then we start to simplify. We get 7 cubed, m to the 27th, which is correct. That's a correct answer, but MathXL I don't think would accept that because we can actually simplify 7 to the 3rd power. So you guys with your calculators who are caught up with me, could you somebody type that in for us? What is 7 to the 3rd power? All right, so it's 343 m to the 27th would be my answer in absolute simplest form. Okay? Yes?
Basically, in that equation, you go ahead, well, that equation you just did, you also times 3 to the 3rd power, 99 times 3, the other one.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and look at C. Okay? C is just a little bit of a longer expression, but that's fine. Okay? We just need to remember to apply the -2 exponent to everything in the parentheses. All right? So 3 is, to the 1st power. So 1 times -2 is going to give me -2. G is to the 4th power. So I'd take 4 times -2 to get -8. And H is to the -4. So we go -4 times -2 to get +8 as my exponent for H. So I'm showing a little bit less work on this one because I have a little bit more work on the back end. Okay? Everybody with me so far? All right. Now let's go ahead and clean up these negatives, okay? So 3's got a negative exponent on it, so let's flip it and make it a positive exponent. So that'd be 1/3 to the power of 2, or 1/3 squared, either way you want to think about it. G to the -8 would be equivalent to 1/g to the +8. And then H is fine because it's already got a positive. Now we have all positive exponents, and this answer right here is correct, but it's just not simplified, okay? So basically we just want to make it look pretty now, all right? So our numerator then is going to be 1 times H to the 8th, right? So just H to the 8th. My denominator is going to be 3. Be careful here. It's not just 3. It's 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. Times not just G, but G to the 8th. Okay, G to the 8th power. So my denominator is G to the 8th power. And that's what it looks like when we simplify. Now, I don't know if I've talked about this yet in here, but for those of you who look at the filled out notes, this one's going to have a note on it like it's going to say something like G can't be equal to 0. I don't want you guys to worry about that because we're not really talking about that for what we need to do, so don't worry about that, okay? That's all I wanted to say there. All right. Anyways, you guys go ahead and try B, which is like A, and D, which is like C. So B is 2z to the -4. Guys, I just realized I didn't, you virtual kiddos, I just realized I didn't attach the notes to the post today. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and do it now, even though it doesn't really help that much now. I gotta get used to this live teaching thing again. All right, a couple more seconds, and guys, just remember, you know, if I call on you, you don't have the right answer, I'd much rather hear, you know, like an incorrect answer than just an I don't know, but I get it. Sometimes you can't even get that far. But I'd love to have you guys in class talking to each other, comparing answers, helping each other out, learning from each other. All right. Anyways, Corey, what'd you get for B? All right. You didn't get anywhere? Okay. Landry, did you get anywhere?
I got to 2 to the negative fourth and then z to the negative fourth, and I didn't know what to do after that.
All right. That is a step. Okay. And then I think Robert wants to clean it up. What do we get when we clean it up?
You get 16z to negative 4th power.
No, not quite. Okay.
Negative 16.
That's all right. No, it's not that either. That's all right. Grant?
1/16.
There it is. Very good. Okay. So remember, we want to clean up both of the negatives, right? So, you know, we have 1 over 2 raised to the 4th power times 1 over z raised to the 4th power. So altogether, my numerator would just be 1 times 1, which is 1. My denominator is going to be whatever 2 to the 4th is. That's 16. Just use your calculator for that. And then z to the 4th is also in my denominator. So 16 times z to the 4th would make up my denominator. Okay? Very nice job there, Grant. All right, I'll just go volunteer on D. Anybody got anything on that one? Grant, go ahead.
16x.
All right, that is correct. Very good. So initially, once we kind of quote distribute the exponent 2, we get 4 squared times x to the 10th times y to the negative 6. Okay, and then we clean it up. 4 squared is 16. And then y to the negative 6, we change to 1 over y to the positive 6. All right, does anybody have any questions before we move on? Okay. So we are kind of up against it on time. So let me just try to do A and maybe B, and then you'll have the rest as notes there. Okay. So this is kind of like example 2. You got to do your power first before you multiply. Power and then multiply. Okay. So we got to do this part first. Actually, sorry, we've got to do a couple. Okay, so for my exponent for n, I take 1/2 times 10. That gives me 5. So I have n to the 5th, and then I'm raising everything in the purple there to the 3rd power. So that'd be 4 cubed times m cubed times n to the whatever 2/3 times 3 is. Okay, that'd be 2. And then I just clean everything up. Okay, so usually we write the coefficient first. So 4 to the 3rd power, you would use your calculator for. That'd be 64. M cubed would just stay M cubed. And then anybody want to volunteer? If you see it, what would my exponent be for n? Virtual people, you feel free to say as well. Kevin? To the 7th, very good. So that'd be a 5 plus 2. If you were thinking 10, that'd be if we raised n to the 5th to the 2nd power. But here we're taking n to the 5th times n squared. So that'd be n to the 7th overall. All right, so what I'll do, since again we're kind of up against it on time, is I will go ahead and post your homework, give you a little bit of a break. I know we kind of fly through those. You may just want to relax for the rest of the time. I'll probably work out B just so you can see another one. So feel free to leave your notes out if you would like to see one more, but that's more just for the video, really. Thank you, sir. You just want to put it right there? Appreciate it. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 What you got, kiddo? So you just go, 4 squared, and then x to the 5 times 2 is x to the 10, and then y to the -3 times 2 is y to the -6. And you just clean it all up at the end. We can look over it again tomorrow, though. All right, guys. So again, this is more just so I have it for the video, but if you want to pay attention, that's fine. If you want to just kind of relax, that's fine too. I know we're kind of at the end there, but. So if I raise b to the 1/3 to the power of 6, I'd get b squared, because 1/3 times 6 is 2. Then I have 2 to the 4th times a to the 4th. And then my exponent for b is going to be -1/2 times 4 is -2. Now I'm going to start to clean this up. 2 to the 4th would be 16. A to the 4th would just stay a to the 4th. And then my power of b would be b to the 0, because 2 plus -2 is 0. And then anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So it's just 16a to the 4th times 1. So we just write that as 16a to the 4th. Okay. But I will post this video and stuff at the end, so you can kind of rewind, fast forward, pause, that kind of stuff. Filled out notes will be there. And then tomorrow I'm going to give you kind of another day to get caught up and ask questions, or move ahead and review if you're all the way caught up. So I'll have a little bit of something for everybody. Virtual kiddos, that's all I got for you. Y'all have a nice day. In-person people too. You have a nice day.